Good afternoon. Welcome to We the People. You see a new look behind us here. We've got a guest today. One of our old crew, Stan McCauley, is going to be here to discuss things with us. Just basically, what you're seeing is something different than the old curtains you always see behind you. It's through technology, we're able to have the set behind us. It's going to give us variety to do a few other things. As we talk about issues, we can bring up graphics, video clips, things like that behind us. Today's our first day doing this, so we'll be playing with it a little bit. I think with Trish in the booth, it's going to go seamless. I think we're off to a good start already, getting everything going.
I think it's a beautiful set.
Yeah, it's something different. It's a different look, something bringing it up to the next level. I just want to thank Naisha McCauley, who's an employee here at Public Access. Her and a few other people that really helped us get the technology up and running. It's something that's been available here, but nobody's ever used it. And it's not easy to get it so that it works. We were on the phone a lot with Panasonic, trying to get technical support and emails back and forth, how to generate all the graphics and everything. So I just really want to thank Naisha. I want to thank Sister Trish, who's been with us since we've started this show here at Public Access. And we're making her use a few more fingers in there now to get everything in, but she's come up to the challenge, and I think she's
very much upgraded. Huh?
I think she's excited about it because it's something different. It brings us to another level, and we thought it was fitting to ask Stan to be here with us for our new set, our new graphics,
looks
new
good.
intro.
Okay, so
it looks good. I like the set. How do you get this set in here every
it's
week?
awesome.
We were going to have Hyacinth come down the spiral staircase.
I mean, look at the backdrop there.
I know, it's
a little help from
nice.
From CBS and from ESPN.
I want to nominate your program as most improved program on public access television. I'm going to put that nomination in publicly right now.
You can put your vote in, but as we know, things aren't voted on around here. So as long as the people watching us like it, that's all we need.
Okay, so
anyway,
our set is beautiful.
Let's get right into it. I know, Stan, you want to talk about education. We'll get into that a little bit. Hyacinth has her calendar, so we'll let her go with her notes.
I usually like to start off, announcing some of the things that's happening in the Senior Center in the South End Wellness Center and Maple Avenue. 830 Maple Avenue. Telephone number 860-757-0840. That's the number for the Senior Center. Some really good stuff are happening there. On Thursday coming, there will be, the Hoffer Hospital will be doing what they call Drive Safer, Drive Longer. And this is geared to who, 65 and over. I think it's a simulation of like your pretend driving, and that will, help you. It's like a test.
Sure, you got a pen ready? Take this number down.
And also, it's starting like 11:45 at 830 Maple Avenue. We also encourage you, if you really like to do it.
Off Maple Avenue that day.
Yeah. No, it will be like a computer simulation kind of thing they'll be doing. Like a test,
Oh, a computer simulator.
Computer simulated driving.
Yeah.
I think it tests the reflexes.
Why not just drive?
Well, this will help with
volunteering?
senior. Yes, and see, it's computer screening, okay?
Your first day back on the show, and you're going to get in trouble.
It's trying to show senior how they can drive safe and stuff like that.
It's one of those good things.
They've been driving their whole life, and now they're going to sit in front of a computer and learn to drive.
That's okay. That's okay. Sometimes things change with your eyesight and all those kind of things. So I think it's just good.
Well, it's not a bad thing.
Okay, you'll also receive a $5 Dunkin' Donut gift card too when you finish. So if you're really interested,
up on the double espresso and hit the highway.
Is this senior driving or police officer driving?
No, senior.
Senior.
65 and older, you said, right?
And 65 and over. And you can call Leah Ann at 860-249-1245, and they try to set up the appointment for you. But it's at the Senior Wellness Center, and that's this coming Thursday. Also, I know it's a little way around, but Thursday, February 16th, there is a Black History Month celebration, and that's going to be from 1 to 2:30, and that's at New Park. That's in New Park Senior Center at 11 New Park Avenue.
Is that in the school?
Yeah, it's a school. Yeah. They're going to be having guest speaker, music, and all the gimmicks there. So I think that should be really good for our seniors or anyone who wants to join. That's great. We have a lot of activities going on in February at the Senior Center. We have party, Sweetheart Dance Party on the 7th. I'm not sure. No, and the 3rd. That's Friday coming. I'll encourage you to attend, but also call the number at the Senior Center to make sure it's going to happen. We have a Valentine's Day party too, a celebration. I think they make cupcakes and just have a nice get together and stuff like that. Oh, the other thing I want to also mention, and maybe we can continue to do that, they call a brain fitness.
Brain fitness.
Yeah, this helps seniors, work their brains to make sure it's working like an
Jerry, you writing these numbers down?
No.
Brain.
You are floored.
Brain.
More than I am.
Brain fitness.
Brain
that
fitness.
means you do like puzzles, or they test your brain to see if you have any Alzheimer's, or you have any kind of delay in dementia or anything like that.
And we're not joking. These are all worthwhile
these are things that
programs
happening.
that
Yeah.
is something that are put on for everyone in the
Yeah,
city.
I just encourage you to call the South End Senior Wellness Center. There's a lot of activities going on there. So for seniors, again, as I always mention, be at the Senior Center instead of being at home doing nothing, okay? We also have Dial a Ride. You can call the city or the Senior Center and find out how you can, get Dial a Ride to take you there if you do not have transportation. So again, I just want to update you on that. We have the computer class, all different kind of stuff going on over there. So again, try to get involved in the South End Wellness Senior Center.
We'll let Trish know we're going to be going to Jerry's crime report in a second.
Yeah.
But there's good things like this going on throughout the city.
Right.
And whether it's the South End, North End,
Yeah.
Parkville,
Yeah.
a lot of programs for seniors.
And I want to also mention that this morning at 11 o'clock, Senator Blumenthal was at the Senior Center to talk about a bill that they're working on in the legislature, and that's going to be around senior abuse, what they're doing, what some family members are doing to their own fathers or mothers or whoever they may be.
And I think you're going to try to get Senator
And we're
Blumenthal
going to try to get him on this show
in the
to talk
future.
about it, yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to be writing a letter in support of that bill because, from the Senior Center.
Okay. And we're going to switch over now to Jerry's crime report.
Oh, Jerry has a
I know
crime
we
report?
talk about crime every week.
Look, it didn't leave the
But-
city, I see.
It didn't?
No,
Oh,
it did not.
There's still
I'm so
crime.
sorry to hear about that,
No,
Jerry.
you're not.
We're going to rely on Jerry's expertise.
Okay.
Trish, can you excite Jerry with his graphic? The crime scene report?
Okay. I would like to start by basically touching on the last week of 2011 in December to give you a brief backdrop what the crime stats were like. In the last week, crime had gone
There we
up.
go, Jerry. There's your graphic up.
Thank you, Kevin.
The police. Do not.
You are not a Rembrandt.
How'd you get that set in there so fast?
You didn't see Naisha run by with the billboard.
And I look down at Jerry, I look up, there's a whole new set.
All right, come on, let's Jerry.
Would you like to be in the council chambers or on the lawn of the state capitol? We can take you wherever you want to go.
Police line.
Okay.
Anyways,
the,
Jerry,
the
back to
last
you.
the last week of December, crime had gone up 37.4%.
Overall for the city?
No, from the previous week.
Well, how did we end
act-
the year? Did we end
And-
up or
no,
down?
well,
I think the crime is burglary.
Well,
I'll
let
get to
him
that.
tell
I'll
us,
get to
then
that,
we'll
okay?
know.
Okay, it went up during the last week of December, up 37.4%. And you were asking about for the year. Year to date, it had, basically, it hardly had gone up at all. In fact, it went down 0.4%.
So we stayed as violent as we were the year before.
The violent crime went down, right? Because we have the shooting task force.
I think
But-
our homicides were, I think they were close to what they were the previous year, maybe a little bit over that. But I think if we didn't have that shooting task force, we would have
would be
ended the
worse.
year far worse than
Yes.
what we did.
Well, if you're talking about shooting, it was down. If you-
Right.
For the year.
Because-
Shooting incidents, the
Vic-
homicides were high.
Be-
Shooting victims and shooting incidents both were down.
Right.
Right, because of the shooting task
And,
force.
We think it's because of
Well,
the
we
shooting
think
incidents.
that, so
And-
we know
and
so.
They came on board in the winter.
They came on before the winter.
But for murder,
Okay.
it was up 3%. Actually,
Okay.
3.8%. It was up.
What about the burglary? That went up.
Yeah, I think citywide that number is,
Yeah.
is definitely up.
Wait a minute. Last year, you know, year to date, it was up. It was up 6.4%.
Yeah.
Now,
Burglaries are a big problem in the city.
Right.
Let's talk
Burglaries and
about-
strong arm robberies.
let's talk about this year. Don't think for a moment we started on a beautiful new direction, because we didn't. As we talk about.
But we did better on homicides. Last year, we had two, on New Year, before on New Year's Day, we had 2 people killed. And this year, I think we went a few weeks before we even had the first one.
Actually, for the 28-day period, we were down. We were down 50%. And
because we only had
if-
one as
and
compared to 2 the
if-
previous
if
years.
If you look at it from year to date, we were down also 50%. But rape was up 100%, robbery was down 20%, aggravated assault was up 70%. Burglary, as it pertained for the week before, was down 6.7%, but burglary for the 28-day period was up 38.6%.
Well, that's, I think people need to, and as we talked about even from fire safety, you know, think about where you put your ashes, think about what you do around your house. The same thing, don't make yourself open to
Right.
be a victim.
Right.
Take the air conditioners out of your
Yeah.
windows for
And
the
you
winter,
take a look
lock
at-
your doors.
Very valid point. Larceny larceny was down from the previous week, might as well say 7%. However, larceny for the 28-day period was up 38.6%.
Okay. And
That-
Jerry's
that's not
taken
good.
full advantage of his crime report today. The 30 seconds we allotted him, or
How many seconds is gone already?
we had to take some out of
Okay.
your time,
Now-
Hyacinth. Hopefully you don't mind.
Now,
Yeah, right.
here's the big problem, and those in the Southwest need to pay attention to this. Auto theft for the week was up 140%. Auto theft for the 28-day period was 44.2% up.
A lot of those are carjackings too, and
Yep.
a big problem with people that either warm their cars up in the morning in their driveway
Leave them
and think they're
running.
safe, or they go to the gas station, fill up with gas, run inside, and leave their
back.
car running. Somebody jumps in and they come out.
Jumps in.
So again, don't let yourself be a victim.
Right.
Think about what you're
It
doing.
can be avoided.
Let's talk about the shooting incident. The shooting incidents for
Talk about that
for the
today.
for the week
Yeah.
is up 300%.
What?
Yeah.
The
300%?
300%.
It's early. Hopefully it'll average out.
And the shooting incidents for the 28-day period is up 7.7%.
And all,
Now,
the,
the
all this
shooting-
information Jerry's reading from is available online. If you go to
Most of
hartford.gov and go to police,
The shooting
you can get
victims,
these numbers if you want to look at them
the
yourself.
shooting victims is also up 300% for the week, and it's down for the 28-day period. It's down 6%.
Okay. And it, you know, these are, the numbers are important to kind of
But-
track things,
but let me-
but they're not, they don't tell the full picture.
Right.
But let me talk about something else which is not on paper, nor will you find it in the computer information section of the police department. The police department it's short of manpower, but
Yes,
it's
we
short
know
of.
that.
Let me speak. It's short across the board. Patrol is short, but more especially, vice and narcotics is short. But there's a reason why it's short. We have some men that are pretty good.
And women, men and women.
Thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
We don't want Hyacinth to jump across the couch at
Exactly,
you.
right?
We have officers, I should say detectives, that are on detached assignment to various federal agencies. Narcotics, those that deal with all aspects of the FBI,
But we also
DEA.
have a lot of federal agents that are on detachment to us,
Yeah.
to task
Now-
force and things.
And what a lot of people don't realize, like New York City Police Department under Kelly, have officers on detached assignment worldwide.
Yeah.
England,
They have a huge
Ger-
terrorism force.
Germany, Spain, Portugal, Poland, and even Russia.
Jerry, if you want to get more comfortable, just put your feet up on Stan's lap. You can, just...
We're gonna rub your feet.
Aisha, can you bring those pillows in? We got those little airline blankets. You can cover your feet up.
But Kevin, it's interesting to note when you ask around to people who are somewhat in the know, what's their impression of what will happen in the months and weeks ahead. Most seem to think that our crime rate will continue to spiral upward.
Well, but another key component of those numbers you just read, believe it or not, is the weather. When we don't have 4-foot snow banks, it's not 5 degrees at night.
That's a valid
people are
point.
on the streets. When we're in 40 and 50 degree weather still in January, more people are congregating on the streets. Crime stays in the streets rather than subsiding for the cold winter months.
And there's something you mentioned, you touched on, but you didn't go into it deeply. The carelessness of people to make things of value readily available to the would-be thief.
Well, and that's, there was an incident, somebody was mugged, I think it was on Campfield Avenue a week or two ago, and a woman actually came out and defended the guy with a golf club. So the attackers took off, but they also grabbed the guy's backpack, which had a gun in it. So that's another gun in the hands of the wrong people. And there's a lot of irresponsible gun owners in the city too.
Was he licensed?
I believe he was. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. He was mugged.
Stole his gun?
Well, if you come up behind you quick, it's hard to get a gun out of your backpack. And
You know,
defeats-
if you're going to conceal and carry,
Stan-
why put it in a backpack?
90% of the time, that's just a number I'm throwing out there, but in my own opinion, 90% of the time, people that carry guns and aren't properly trained eventually have those guns used against them, because they don't know how to properly use a gun. And that's dangerous too.
Yeah, and those who do know how to use it, well, sorry for the other guy.
They don't seem to be using it.
But anyway, okay, that's the crime report. We'll try to update you each week. Maybe not as long as a report, but try to update you and let you know what's going on in the city, how to not become a victim, and maybe we can keep those numbers down by people a little more aware of their surroundings and what's going on. Another big issue going on in the city right now is education. A lot of controversy about the appointments to the Board of Education made by Mayor Segura. The council kind of stepped up and I think did what the council's supposed to do by opening it up to the public, letting them know why these choices were made, and having the people explain why they were the right choice, or they are the right choices to be appointed to the Board of Education. I know Stan has some definite feelings about that. That's, we invited you here today. Hyacinth, you're a big education person as far as being involved.
I was pleased with the discussion they had on, what is it, Thursday? Last week?
Yeah,
last Thursday they had a they had a committee of the whole in a hearing, the confirmation hearings.
Right. And as I said, I'm very impressed. And you may think in the charter, the mayor does have the right to appoint himself to the board, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The mayor has.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Well, let me
putting a
just
point
say
out
the
there.
answer.
Yeah.
The mayor has the right to appoint. It's not a right by charter.
By charter.
He is tasked with appointing 5 people to the Board of Education.
Okay.
Now, who those people? He could appoint Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
The charter gives him that right.
Right, but does he?
It gives him the right to appoint Astro Boy and Donald
But
Duck.
does the charter give him the right to appoint himself?
It doesn't give him any more right to appoint himself
It
than
doesn't say he
Donald
can't.
Duck.
Okay.
It doesn't say
He
can't
may
do it.
appoint whoever he wants. He has to appoint.
So again, this is going to be interesting because we need to look seriously at the charter.
But Hyacinth, what's interesting here is that last week I took a position, wasn't a nail-shut position on perhaps why the mayor appointed himself. And I had this discussion privately with Stan, and Stan has a completely different view of it. And, I kind of agree with Stan. He's certainly not wrong, but I just had an opinion. And Stan, you're going to comment on that today, right?
We are taking phone calls. For anybody that has the phone number still stays the same, 860-524-8920. That's 860-524-8920. If you have an opinion on this, and I'm sure I know one person has an opinion, who'll be calling us in a minute, but anybody out there that has an opinion on the Board of Education, charter, how the appointments are done, feel free to give us a call.
I think Cologne and what's her name, McIntyre, the lady's name is McIntyre?
Doctor, she's PhD.
Okay, all right. And Poland, Waring, I'm not sure about Waring, but I feel like Matt Poland has a lot of experience around budget stuff, and I feel he's qualified to do, maybe chair the board.
I was kind of impressed with all the, and I didn't watch the entire thing. Dr.
Cologne, yes, he's got.
Very impressed by his expertise and his
Yes,
knowledge.
and
He used to be a principal
at Hartford High, and I worked with him. He's very.
But the problem there is, a lot of people are questioning whether there's a conflict of interest in his city job and the funds he deals with and programs they have at the Board of Education. Is there a conflict of interest there? And that's the other issue I have, and we saw, Mayor Perez was a master at this. He put people into positions that he knew were beholden to him, whether it was a town committee, his appointees to the Board of Education, and I'm not sure if Mayor Segura will do it, but to have that leverage over somebody that you're also their boss in the job that they make their livelihood from, are they going to cross you and say, no, I don't agree with that position, I don't agree with the direction you're going in, we should take a look, and if they vote against a position the mayor has, how much pressure is put on them? I think it's a type of thing where people should be free to make their own decisions, use their own judgment without any fear of reprisals. And I'm not saying that Mayor Segura would do that, but the potential is there.
But I'm feeling confident that they will do the right thing for our children. And the point is, and I have to say, the next 2 years there will be an election for 4 people, and any one of us can
But that's
decide.
another big issue, though. Why bother having the election if the majority is
Already.
already controlled by the mayor?
But that's because the
That's
charter
something-
says that.
But that's something that needs to be
And
looked
that
at
need
through
to be
charter
looked at
revision.
during the charter.
It makes no, I can see, give the mayor 1, 2, maybe
Let-
3 appointments,
I-
but why give him the majority?
Let Stan comment on this.
I like the mayor having 5 appointees. 5 is 1 plus 1 that gives him the majority. If the appointees are individuals that are qualified for the job and have the ear of the mayor and are free to do what they believe is best, like your Supreme Court nominees and then, justices, then it's very easy to sway 1 or 2 of them by the minority that represents the general population as a whole. I like all of the people. I mean, obviously, everyone is exceedingly qualified, including the lone Republican there. And I think that they would all do well in their service. I have a very big problem with Matt, and I have a big problem with the former principal of Hartford High. Not because of their quality. If you ask me, they're eminently qualified. If it was up to me, the former principal of Hartford High would serve as the board chair, and more than likely will wind up being board chair. But
It's the
they
connections
work
back to City Hall.
for the mayor at the city, and they work at the discretion of the mayor, the family and children guy. Matt, of course, is over at the library, and there's severe conflict of interest. If you're trying to tell me that out of a city of 120,000, you can't find 100 people willing to serve, 5 of them? You can't find 5 people in this city?
Again, it goes back to your comfort level. Who do you feel you can trust to do? And
elections have consequences. And therefore, despite my misgivings about the 4, the mayor should have the right to choose, select, and appoint whoever he wants. At that point, it becomes the job of the city council to confirm, and that the city council has to confirm. If they have a problem, then the confirmation doesn't go through. And I think this should be between the representatives of the people, the elected body on the legislative side, and the elected individual on the municipal side. My problem is with him appointing himself.
Okay.
Now
See, that's the greater issue to me.
That's the big elephant in the room. Forget the others.
Okay.
Whatever the issue is with them, you know, the mayor should be able to, whoever he appoints, it might never be able to opinion, the mayor should be able to get on the phone, cuss him out. I don't care how he takes care of business. This is the policy. Get behind it. That's why I put you there. Think of what's best for the city and the children. But we all know this is not about the children. It's about the money. And that's the bottom line.
The money.
Right. And everyone who's coming out front and just saying it. This has nothing to do with education. Nothing. Nothing. The mayor should not be sitting on that council. He needs to be focusing on economic development and the things that are under his charge. That's why there's a separation.
As you
Hold
say,
on,
the council will decide who they want to be there. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Stan,
Jerry, what's
the
your point?
mayor-
Okay, hold on.
I don't think the mayor should be there, and I'm going to lobby the council
Stan, okay.
to
Some
not
people
confront
may argue, and they have already said it, that by having the mayor there, there'd be better control of Board of Education expenditures.
I disagree with that, though. I disagree.
That's flawed thinking, and if you believe that, you know, I got lease rights for the Brooklyn Bridge.
No, but the
And,
other,
and there's big money to be made there.
Right, and you're saying that the mayor has the right to do the do.
No.
And so you did
That
do-
is not what I said. I
Oh.
said elections have consequences, and the mayor gets to choose his appointees. When you're given appointment authority by a legislative body, the intent is not that you're going to appoint yourself. It's an axiomatic, self-evident truth that by most logical thinking should not have to be written into the legislation.
it's like throughout life, we have the
Then
right
we
to
need
do a lot of
Then we need to
things.
go over the charter and fix that. so that doesn't happen.
Or we should take the mayor at his word when he said he wouldn't appoint himself to the board. What
I'm not sure
else
if he
can we
ever
go
said
with?
that.
He
I
didn't
think he
say
said he
that.
wouldn't appoint
Put
himself to
himself
be
chair.
chairperson.
Right.
No,
But-
he on
Do we have a
Jeff
transcript?
Cohen's,
Do
on
we
Jeff
have-
Cohen's show, he alluded that he might sit for 6 months or so.
Nah.
So
Well, that
he
sounds
could
like the
get a-
Republican town chair who said
Right,
he would only
right.
sit for a few
He
months
also
to get
said
him
he
in
wasn't
shape.
going to run for mayor.
I am hoping he
So
doesn't.
what he says is suspect
Yes.
in my mind. Now, if the logic is he appoints himself to the board so that he can better have control of the money, his position on the board doesn't give him control. The board is not a singular individual. The board is a collective of minds that give back and forth. There's only one way to have control of the money sitting on that board, and that's to be the chair so that you can control the agenda. So the logical next step will be, well, you know what? I didn't want to do this, but I was convicted and compelled because of the necessity of education in our city and for the children. And I didn't want to do it, but my friends got me in the corner and said, you know what, Mr. Mayor? We think you should be the chair.
Well, I think that's another issue that, you know, do one thing and do it well. If you're going to be the mayor, appoint 5 people that will report back to you.
Right.
Know your mindset, know what you expect. You don't have to immerse yourself into the Board of Education. We've got far more problems that are going to come before July 1st in our new budget that need the everyday focus. The Board of Education, you know, and also what's wrong with making sure that the superintendent is hiring people that report properly
Right.
and oversee the money. I don't think the mayor needs to be sitting in the chair at the Board of Education to make sure the money is spent properly. It starts with the tone from the top. Let's start controlling city spending and then worry about the Board of Education controlling themselves. The mayor cannot be everything to everyone.
Right.
But what do you think about the way the council has handled this? I think a year or two ago, we would have never seen this. It would have been rubber stamp, done, whether it was Mayor Perez, Mayor Segura. Those appointments would have been a done deal, no questions asked, have a nice day.
I have been publicly critical of Sean Wooden, Attorney Sean Wooden. I'm on record, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube being critical of him. I called and left a message saying that if this is a sign of things to come, then Godspeed, because I think it is his leadership and his commitment that is moving this thing forward. You see, what people say and what they do are two different things. What he has said has given me suspect. What I see him doing is encouraging. Because at the end of the day, what you do is what matters.
Yeah.
Now, if he's talking open and transparent, well, that's what he's delivering. Open, transparent.
But
he's been sitting down with people, whether they agree with him or not, to seek their counsel. And you see him putting out, and this is because of, in my opinion, there might be some other forces, but at the end of the day, it's because of President Woodard. I think if the president would have been Ken Kennedy, you would not have this.
And if the council president had obeyed the memo he got from the mayor's office, this would have been voted on and ratified last Monday night.
Right.
And I think the one thing this council needs to do, and Sean wouldn't call me last week and wanted to sit down and talk. We did that Friday night. 4.5 hours later, we left. We went out for dinner, and I'm sure this is no big secret because there were more than enough people that the word was probably spreading like wildfire. Hey,
this is Hartford.
Brookman and Wooden were in the back of a restaurant for 4 hours talking. So I got a much better feeling for Sean, or for the council president, of where he's coming from. Definitely, I would say he has a much larger agenda for other offices. And I don't think that's not a secret to anyone.
Right,
There's nothing wrong with, it's like us. Do we want the old blue curtain behind us, or do we want to rise up and, to greater expectations? So there's nothing wrong with that. But I also got a much better feeling about him and how he's going to get things done, his sense of democracy, his sense of fairness. I'm not going to go into a lot of the things we discussed, but why he dropped out of the mayor's race, how that came about. And he knew I was very disappointed about that, as were a lot of people.
But Kevin, I've said from the beginning that I was a strong supporter of Wooden.
You were. I've had heated arguments with my friends. But I publicly am saying if what I have seen out of the gate continues, then I'm glad he's the council president. Because it's going to take a mature council to stand up to the power of our chief elected official. As the current mayor said, the council is not an advisory group that,
we may listen to you, we may not.
Listen to you
and
when we want to.
We talked about
right?
I told him,
and the board of ed will say we are policymakers. We don't make decisions what goes on in the school system.
The board of ed is separated from the municipal side so that as best as can be accomplished, you keep the municipal politics out of. Now, it's hard to keep politics in Hartford out of anything, because every decision in Hartford is a political decision. But can you imagine what it would be like if the mayor controlled the Board of Ed agenda as well?
Well, he technically does. But I think, the one thing this council, and we haven't seen it in councils in the past, we haven't seen it from the previous 2 or 3 presidents, one of them who eventually became mayor. And I've used this line before, but I think it's crucial. We changed our charter to strong mayor, but we didn't relegate to a weak council.
That is right.
The council has plenty of power that they need to step up, and this is just one thing that the council just showed.
And I think they're using
but,
it.
But
yeah.
They are using it.
The good thing that they went to the retreat
because of Wooden.
I don't think the retreat had anything to do with it.
You don't think?
No. It's because one person is showing leadership,
right,
and the others are expected to either plead your case why we should do it a different way or follow the leadership that's being provided to you. And that maturity doesn't come with someone that, because you've been on the council 8 or 10 years and have been part of a puppet administration. It becomes because you have integrity, you know how to get things done, and you're willing to try something different.
And you're listening to what the people say.
And trust me, they got phone calls.
Right. I think if they weren't listening, and because, this is what we talked about every council meeting. Are you guys listening to what we're saying? We know what's going on. Well, why aren't you changing things? So I'm hoping.
And it would appear that we do now have a council, because that's what the city council is there for, to be to touch base with the constituents. The mayor's there for a totally different purpose. His job is to put into play all of these policies and to run the city efficiently. If you don't have a check and balance, he'll get out of control, or it could be the other way around, where he becomes a puppet of the council. There has to be give and take.
Right.
There has to be give and take. And I think, you mentioned the retreat. I think that the retreat probably didn't go as well as some would have expected it to, because you had this little transparent open hearing. If it was up to the powers to be, this hearing would have never happened. Yeah. The retreat was meant to get everybody on board. There's a grand plan. You all need to come on board and follow it, and we're going to move the city forward. Well, the city is not other people's playground. The city is where we live.
Okay.
And they work for us.
Good.
But
so we need to continue to hold them accountable. So the more people
That's why
that get out of their homes,
that's
that
why
get out
we're
to
here.
City Hall,
That's
or
exactly
go to
what we're doing
call
here. Make the
and
phone
make
calls.
those phone calls and go
Right.
there and let them know what they're doing wrong when they're doing it wrong. I
Let them
think
know when they're
we
doing it
need
right,
to-
too. We
Yeah.
need to
Right.
let them know when they're
Yeah.
doing it right.
But yeah, vice versa. But the point
They
is
do
that
it wrong
they
more than they
need
do
to
it right,
hear-
but we need to let them know when they do good things.
Yeah, they need to hear more from the people of the city that elects them.
Well, you know what? 80% of most people's aspirations in life is to go to work and come home.
I know.
Have a beer or coffee, watch the game, chill, and get ready for work the next day. They're not out there trying to do anything. You got 10% at the top, you got the 10% at the bottom that make this thing here. And the 10% at the top are fighting for all of what's going to happen. And some of that 10% are crazy power mongers, this, that, and other thing. And there's like a percent in that 10%, like us, who want things to work right. And if we keep our mouths shut, those folk will run away with the farm. Most people aren't going to call in because they
But they
just
almost
want
think
things
in
to
some
really
cases,
work, you know?
they may think that what they're doing is right until they see a different perspective pointed out to them. So that's why
Right.
it's also
Right.
important for people to call or go to council meetings.
Right.
Let them know what you think. And if you're living in a vacuum and don't hear what people are saying, and I know the council president is hearing what people are saying. There were plenty of people that came up to our table. He's very recognizable, I guess, which I was surprised. People would come up and tell him, you got to do this, you got to do that. I want to talk to you about this. I want to talk to you about that. And all the people that were giving him advice, you should be doing this. I said, Sean, you're 25, 26 days into this position. Make it your own.
Make
Do
it
what you
your
got to
own,
do.
grow into it.
Listen to the advice, and some of it will make sense, some of it
Some
won't.
won't, yeah.
But nobody can be there telling you what to do. So I think we're off to a good start. I'm optimistic about the council. Just the fact that the way the council president was elected was not foreseen by most of the power brokers. They thought they had anointed their president already, and that's the way it was going to be. But we also see it a lot in the town committee races. There are people that are stirring things up so much that we never heard of primaries and the things that are going on town committee. Now, the 7th district where I live, there's 3 different challenge slates.
And this is
But
great.
that's not only the
That-
7th
that is
district.
perfect.
This is great.
The
This is what democracy is supposed
Yep.
to be about.
And in the 6th, we have a race.
And the
which
more
challenge.
people
the
wear,
4th.
Right.
it's just the only district in the city that doesn't is the 1st, the West End. The 6th, where you live, the Deep South End, there's 2 challenge slates.
4th.
The 4th district has, and this is on the Democratic primary side, the Democratic
Right.
Town Committee. The Republicans are trying to exhume bodies to get them to be on the town committee. But on the Democratic side, there's real challenges going on. And some of those slates I'm very excited about. It's a lot of change that needs to come about. Now it's up to the voters to get out and
Right, and we
make
gotta
that
encourage
change.
them to go out and vote.
On your slate, you've got mostly
Some
all
good people.
new people, a couple of
Yeah.
young people that I'm very excited about seeing them get involved. One of them just started coming to your meetings recently.
Yes, young
His
man.
family has a long history in the city, but he's gotten the bug for politics now.
know.
So he's out there. He wants to learn everything he can about politics, how the system works. And that was somebody that I actually started bringing along when I was running for the council. So I'm very excited to see him getting involved. You're back on the slate in the 6th, which you were kind of forced off years ago because you weren't a game player with the the Perez administration. In the 7th district, I'm running on a slate with State Representative McCrory, former State Rep Ken Green, and I have to say, several young people now that I really don't even know, that I'm excited about the different mindset, and they're not the usual, and I'll get in trouble for saying this and stereotyping, but they're not the usual town committee we've seen, like, what am I going to get? I want that contract for myself.
Yes.
You know, my brother-in-law needs a job at City Hall. You want my support? You give him a job.
Yeah, the good
These are
thing-
people that are that love this city and want to make it a better place, not what they're going to get out of
The
it.
good thing about our slate is these are business people of there. You know, they have no, you know, connection with anyone in City Hall.
They
trying to get
want
something.
to
They wanna
see
change.
what's happening. And your town committee is very, very important, because the town committee are the individuals that interview candidates that are going to run for office, that are going to represent you.
And they're supposed to have your best interests at heart. That's
Right.
not the case now.
Right.
But
Well,
hopefully it'll change
no.
to become that.
Right, but you want town committee people who have a feel for democracy and for what's best for the city,
Right.
not
For the
the best,
individual.
not what's best for the city being secondary to what they get for
To their
themselves.
self-interest.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's what the town committee has
Because I told-
devolved to.
Right, and I've told my group, I said, if you're going to this for a handout, please, there's no handout. You got to work, improve what's going on in our neighborhood. We haven't gotten any real project in our neighborhood for over how many years, because, you know, I was being squashed and that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
So again, we need people who are honest, not out there just, okay, yeah, I get involved because, yeah, I have something to get. We want to improve our neighborhood.
Well, and even the
we
more
wanna see-
important part, nothing wrong with having older people on there that have been around, know the process, and hopefully have good intentions. But I'm excited seeing the number of younger people. And I don't mean myself, because I don't consider myself young anymore. But when you see people, you know, mid-20s, 30s, that want to make Hartford their home, want to raise their kids
We need
here,
to give them the
want to be
chance.
here, and they know that they can make a difference in the
You see,
city.
the important thing is that we have to encourage them to get involved.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's-
they're getting involved, and I believe they're encouraged. They just have to keep forging ahead.
Right.
Trish, if you can get that Super Bowl segment ready, we're going to that in a minute before we run out of time. And then we're going to see, we got 2 Patriots fans, 2 Giants fans here. So we're
Oh,
going
yeah, Giant? Are you Giant?
Giant.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute.
What do you-
Well, you know what? I was Cowboy, but they're out of the league now. So really, I'm really, you know, up for game.
Oh, she told me Giants
boy.
before.
Well,
Here
because
we
I-
go.
because
Now when
I
it
wasn't
comes
going
down
for
to
the
it,
Patriot.
the
All right, well,
Giants
I
are-
thought I was sitting in between 2 losers, but
the Giants are out of it. But and Henry Brown just came in. His show is up next. And
he's in shock. He's trying to figure
he's saying,
out
like, where
Why-
did they get
why
that new
where that
studio?
beautiful set come from.
Yeah.
And I have to apologize to Henry because we forced him out of his studio. Or, well, he can still get in here, but we're in the studio that usually Henry's show comes from, because this is where our set will work. The equipment in here is so dilapidated that the studio we usually go in wouldn't accept the technology we were bringing in. So we're in Henry's studio because this is where the equipment works. It's like a wing and a prayer that anything works around here. The lights, you get hit in the head as they swing free in the ceilings. The microphones don't work, but anyways. Although Trish told us Henry's always wanted to be in the other studio with the open windows.
Oh, he could
So-
see outside.
But Trish, are we ready for that Super Bowl segment? Why don't you go ahead and run that? This is a little bit of, it's like a minute and 20 seconds about the Super Bowl, and then we'll talk about
Wow,
it.
look at us. We are right behind the
We
crowd.
just took a quick trip to
I
Fox
feel like
Sports.
I feel like the guys on ESPN. The only
Yeah,
thing the only
People down there be quiet.
the only thing I'm missing is like 6 or 7 Super Bowl rings. You know.
Yeah, now
Okay, yeah, let's hit play on that. Bring up the audio, Trish.
Y'all ready for this?
Brady,
That's just a
Brady can
little bit of playing with our new graphics here.
Brady can score
like
at
Brady.
will. He can score at will.
And I think he's got a debt to settle. You know, a couple years ago, or last
Yeah.
year? No, whenever the Giants beat us last time. I think Tom Brady is going to come back and settle that.
Stan,
Yeah.
stop by the dollar store and buy a beach towel for your tears.
I won't need a beach towel for my tears because, you know, though I am, you know, from Pittsburgh and do like the Steelers, I live in New England, and I'm not ashamed to say that I'm rooting for the Patriots. But beyond that, just to watch the execution, if you like things to run well, if you like stuff that works right, if you like captains that don't take their ship ashore, if you like administrators that know what the hell they're doing, then you will appreciate Brady, because his execution and attention to detail is flawless.
And if nothing else, it's going to be a great game. I think it's doing a lot more for the East Coast than it will for the West Coast.
I am just waiting
those
for
two
the
teams
New
in
York Yankees to just whoop the Patriots.
See, I'm not a
Yankees.
baseball fan. I'm not a baseball fan.
What is
The
it?
Yankees and the Patriots hardly ever play. The New York Giants.
I'm not a football person.
Oh, I like football. I
No,
watch
I'm a basketball
football.
person.
Yeah, we watch the game.
And I
So you're
I
having
regret-
you having a party?
No, I'll find one to go to though.
Oh.
But I regret
You
when the
having one?
Patriots came to.
We've been invited to two.
You remember back during John Rowland and Mayor Mike when the
Oh
Patriots
yeah.
were gonna.
And I met with Mr. Kraft.
Yeah, they were gonna relocate. As it turns out, we were just a pawn
It
in
was
this
just
deal
a
for
play.
Massachusetts. But I had 3 season tickets that I had for years, and when the Patriots backed out of that deal, I was so mad.
You throw it
did you
out.
burn
You-
them?
you
The next
turn-
year, I let them go.
Yeah, me
Now
too.
you'll never get season unless you're on a waiting list for 20 years. But you know, I'm still a big Patriots fan. Like you said, if you want to see, you know, Tom Brady. I was in a fantasy football league this year, and everybody said, "Oh, you don't pick your quarterback first. You don't pick it first. You know, do that down the road." So I couldn't make it to the draft. So it was Len Bestoff and a few other people were all in the same league. So I gave him my picks. I said, "Len, I want Tom Brady, my first pick." And he said, "You don't want to do that. You don't want to take your quarterback first." I said, "I want Tom Brady as my quarterback." So when they made the picks at the draft, he said everybody laughed that I was crazy for taking Tom Brady. Well, I won every game in that league this year, and I came out first. And it was because of Tom Brady. You know, and I had a couple other good players, but yeah, I'm a big Patriots fan. I think there's going to be some excitement. You know, and we can't always focus on politics. We got to pay attention to this stuff once in a while.
You have to
I'm a
escape. You
basketball
have to escape
person.
the madness. Now, see, basketball. I just cannot get into watching a basketball
Oh, I love
game.
going to Hartford High and watch those kids playing now. You know, they are, 10 to 9?
Well, you know, maybe if I went to a high school game,
Maybe
it might
you
be
should
different.
go.
We went to watch the Knicks. I think we were touching the rafter, and it looked. I mean,
Why
you know,
why don't I call
Yeah.
you the next game they're having at Hartford High so you can come and watch?
All right.
It's really exciting.
But what are you a UConn fan at all? UConn men or
Sort
women?
of, yeah, not, you know, because the girls, you know, they win all the time, so it's like
No, they're
no
not this year.
challenge.
It's actually fun to watch the women's games this year. Some are still blowouts, you know, 40, 50 points ahead. But they've had some nail biters back and forth by 2 points this way. You know, Baylor, Notre Dame.
But the boys been losing.
The men are also having there's competition out there. These other coaches have learned how to build good teams too. I don't like those new uniforms that
And
the
Andrew
UConn men wore
Drummond,
yesterday.
oh, I thought he was
See,
going
I-
there
I
and
don't,
make sure he gets all those rebounds and all those, you know.
Yeah, so, anyways, we're almost out of time here, I think, for today. Yeah, we got
still got
we
5
about,
minutes.
well, about 4 minutes with the credits and everything.
4 minutes.
But, you know, it's been an interesting, no phone calls today.
Yeah.
Jonathan must be out of town, but, and Stan's sitting here, so he's not at home calling. But,
Yeah, I wanted to come in and express. I wanted to publicly, like an open letter. I wanted to publicly implore the city council members to approve the mayor's picks, with the exception of the mayor. And I have problems. I have problems with his picks, but I'm not the mayor. He is. And that's his, that he should be able to pick who he wants, but he should not be able to appoint himself. And there is no rationale afford. I will debate anybody on that subject anytime, anywhere.
And on Thursday, they'll be doing the voting, right? Thursday?
Thursday they will be doing the voting.
Right, right.
I agree with you. I don't think there's much that's going to change with it now. You know, people in those positions hardly ever backtrack when they realize they're wrong. They'll just go on that path until it's proven that they're wrong. And that's unfortunate. I think, you know, the same thing as with Mayor Perez. I don't think Mayor Segura has the best advisors around him telling him what makes sense. And sometimes you have to have people that will say, put the brakes on here. Let's rethink this.
But sometimes some people don't want to hear the truth.
Oh, I know.
You have to
but
have.
you tell it as it is, though.
Yeah, but on your advisory team, there has to be someone who constantly disagrees with you, just for the sake of balance.
Yes.
Just for balance.
Those people are called unemployed.
In Hartford.
In Hartford, they would be unemployed.
How dare you disagree with us?
Yeah, we choose you because you will agree with us.
Right.
But you know, the point is that the state of our education, something needs to happen drastically, because even though we have superintendent that says, oh yeah, everything looks good, and it's only looking good on paper, but in reality, it's not good.
See, now you're taking us in a whole different direction. This is
That's another show for another day. Yeah. I was publicly supportive of Tim Sullivan for superintendent of schools.
Too.
He would have been the best choice, but once again,
politics got in the way.
So, you know, do we want a school system that's going to best serve the young people of the city, or do we want a school system that's going to best serve the long-range goals of gentrifying the city and making it ready for folks that don't live here now?
Well, we're coming into the final. We just got the call from down the hall. 2 minutes left, so a minute of that is going to be our closing credits. But maybe we can do something more on the Board of Education. And those numbers you talk about that are improving, I think if we backed out the magnet schools, we'd see the numbers dropping again.
But
the only reason
the
numbers.
Can someone provide us with some statistics on that?
You're the statistic
I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can try to get some. Yeah.
But even with the magnet school,
make it quick.
The magnet school does not tolerate any
The public schools shouldn't either.
Right, but what happened in the magnet school when a kid misbehaved? You know what happened to them? They were thrown out back into the.
But that's why those schools, because the magnet schools do what they do, it's drawing the averages up. If we took out all those magnet schools and those students' grades, Hartford's, the neighborhood schools would be a disaster.
But Kevin, those are just numbers. People can say, I have 100%.
Okay, we got to wrap. Trish, go ahead with the closing credits. We're out of time.
Okay.
So.
Okay, everyone, have a good day now.